Gossip Girl fans, unite! The reboot of Gossip Girl released on July 8th, and we're so excited to see what the new characters get up to and how the storyline will differ from the original, but also any similarities we can spot. We're already loving the show, even though it's only on its first episode, but we know we have a lot of drama that will be unfolding soon. With this being a reboot, we're of course bound to see some similarities from the original, and the production team and cast has made sure to put a lot of Easter eggs and references that only true Gossip Girl fans will notice. In today's video, we'll be talking about all the Easter eggs and references that have been found so far in the Gossip Girl reboot that give a nod to the original. If you want to find out more, keep watching. Before we begin this video, if you enjoy content like this, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on post notifications so you can be the first to hear about my next video. Alright, let's get into it. Number 1. Dumbo. Gossip Girl fans will know that Dumbo stands for Down Under Manhattan Bridge Overpass. It was known as the poorer area of Brooklyn in the show, and it was where Dan Humphrey lived in the original, even though it probably still would have been super expensive in the early 2000s because it's the middle of New York. But anyway, although Dumbo was originally looked at as not necessarily the nicest area in the original Gossip Girl, in the reboot it seems to have changed and is a pretty happening place. The part of town where Dan Humphrey once lived because it was what he could afford is now lived in by the richest character of the show. This is definitely a nod to the original Gossip Girl by the production team, but it also shows that they thought about the storyline more in the reboot, and now they're switching things up a little. Very interesting. Number 2. Shoutouts to alumni of the show. There have already been a few shoutouts to show alumni, and we know that there's sure to be more in future episodes. So far, Nate Archibald gets a shout-out, being known as a distinguished alumni of St. Jude's. Dan Humphries also gets a shout-out, and he is now a famous novelist. Will we be seeing Dan in future episodes? We're not sure, but because of the mention so early on, we really hope so. Another person who gets a shout-out is Rebecca Sherman, and this is a real Easter egg that only a few die-hard fans clocked onto. She is mentioned as another alum student, and just as Rebecca, because the producers said they couldn't bring themselves to have actors say her full name because it would sound way too obvious. For those of you who don't know, Rebecca Sherman was never seen on screen, but was discussed on episode 25 of the original Gossip Girl, where everyone's trying to decide who Gossip Girl is. Someone says it's got to be Rebecca Sherman, to which Blair replies, "No, she always has her head in her book, it can't be her." This was a pretty hard Easter egg to find, but it definitely shows that the new Gossip Girl is still trying to reference the old one and still trying to keep fans interested. Number 3. I Did Something Terrible. This is one that hasn't happened yet, but it's definitely one to look forward to, so keep an eye out. Joshua Safran, series showrunner, recently told Town & Country that in a future episode, one of the lines will reference an iconic Serena moment. In one of the episodes, a character says, "I did something terrible," to which another responds, "What? Did you kill someone?" This is an ode to Serena Vanderwoodum, an original Gossip Girl character, saying, "I killed someone." So it looks like the reference and Easter eggs to the original Gossip Girl don't just stop at episode 1, but run throughout the whole show. We have a lot to look forward to in the coming episodes. Number 4. Martinis are still the drink of choice. Of course they are. You can't have a Gossip Girl episode without the presence of martinis. Everyone knows that. In the original, fans will remember that Blair and Serena always drink martinis, and the producers clearly wanted to make sure that the tradition was kept alive. In the reboot, Julian and her friends love them too. However, when Zoya enters the friendship group and doesn't appear to like them too much, the group looks down on her. Who knows, maybe at some point in the future, Zoya will learn to love martinis. We'll just have to wait and see. Number 5. The very first scene. The whole first scene immediately brings us back to the very beginning of the original Gossip Girl, just like producers intended for it to. It may be a reboot, but everyone still has to remember that it came from somewhere. Constance Billard and St. Jude's teacher Kate Keller is the first character we see on screen in the reboot, and wears almost the same outfit as Serena wore from the pilot, from the blazer to the scarf. Fans of the original will know that this scene is almost identical, and many have interpreted that it sets her apart from the Gen Z students. Kate would have grown up around the same same time as the original cast, so it just shows that she's also from a different era. Number 6, the fashion. Gossip Girl was all about the fashion in the original, we know that for a fact. So when fans heard about the reboot, they were super excited to see what will change with fashion as we're now in a whole new generation. As there have obviously been some nods to the original, especially with Kate's outfit in the first scene resembling Serena's very closely, there have also been some more subtle references. For example, in one of the scenes, Julian browses for clothes from Alice and Olivia, which is a brand that many of the cast members wore in the original and also became incredibly well known because of Gossip Girl. Zara clothing was also a staple in the original Gossip Girl, with many of the cast members rocking looks from the brand. However, in the reboot, Luna disses the brand. This definitely shows a shift in tastes and a desire to move away from the original a little bit. One thing that also shocked fans was the use of headbands. Blair was known for her headbands in the original, and in the first few scenes, we see Zoya rock that look too, which leads us to thinking that maybe this will be similar. However, current school ruler Julian establishes a new look as she has shaved her head, and she also takes off Zoya's headband and reworks it into a neck scarf. There's definitely a lot of different fashion from the original, but no doubt it will set off some new trends. Number 7, the steps of the Met. The Metropolitan Museum of Art was featured many times in the original Gossip Girl, being a prime location for filming at many points. It was a huge hangout spot for Blair and her friends and became a famous piece to spot them whilst filming in the early 2000s. And of course, the new cast and crew had to bring this back. We already knew about this reference long before episode 1 was released, as early promos for the Gossip Girl reboot featured the new cast chilling on the steps of the Met. This has also been featured in the first episode, and we can be sure to see it even more in future episodes too. It's always nice to have that one familiar place that keeps popping up. Number 8, Madison Avenue is also featured. Madison Avenue in New York City is home to many high-end fashion retailers, a lot like Bond Street in London. So many New Yorkers are very familiar with the street as it screams high class and luxury. It runs all the way from Madison Square Park to East Harlem's 125th Street, and many have spotted Gossip Girl cast members shooting there, so we will be sure to see more of that in future episodes. We have also seen a lot of shots from Madison Avenue from the original Gossip Girl, as we know that the original characters loved their shopping. A lot of the locations from the old Gossip Girl are being used again to tell newer, different stories, and we can't wait to see how everything unfolds. And finally, number 9, famous cameos. The original Gossip Girl was known for having loads of famous cameos in the show, and the reboot has already proved that it will be doing the same. In episode 1, Julian walks in a Christopher John Rogers fashion show, and the former editor-in-chief for Teen Vogue, Lindsay Wagner, makes a brief appearance to tell Julian that she had her eye on her. This might have been the only one for episode 1, but we know we'll be seeing a lot more cameos from fashion icons and people well known in the fashion industry, because it just reinforces the importance of fashion in Gossip Girl. Are you excited for episode 2? Let us know in the comments below. And that concludes today's video about the Gossip Girl reboot, all the Easter eggs and references to the original so far. If you noticed any others that you think we may have missed, let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and make sure to turn on post notifications so you can be the first to hear about my next video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.